Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be all about the different bugs and creatures and animals and things that we have encountered since living here in Nicaragua and how our children are coping as well. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Allison. I currently post content on this channel surrounding our relocation from Canada to Nicaragua. If you're interested in that kind of content, the subscribe button is down below, and I'll also leave my TikTok and my Instagram down there as well. Alright, so first of all, before I get into this video, I just wanted to mention that I am sick. I am not feeling well. Today is day 4. I am doing much better today than the past 3 days, but it's been a tough go these past couple of days, that's for sure. I can't remember the last time I have been in bed this long and sleeping and just feeling this yucky for, so I am just hoping that it will pass quickly, and if I seem a little low energy, that is why today. However, I thought it'd be fun to just sit down and film one of the easier videos that I wanted to film. Not because I feel like I have to, I just honestly been sitting in bed for today's day 4 now, so I kind of wanted to get up and actually film something. And in my last video, I asked for video requests, and someone mentioned bugs and animals and creatures and things like that, and I thought this one will not take a lot of brain power to film and will be fun to film and I think interesting for you guys, so that is what I'm going to film today. It's actually funny that I'm filming this video right now because there's a grasshopper right on the other side of the window here, just like doing a little dance on the window watching me film, which I think is pretty funny. I'll try and include a clip of it. Also, my hair is a giant hot mess. But that's okay, it's okay. We're gonna talk about all things bugs, animals, things like that, and how we've been adjusting. I will say right off the bat though, and I think I've mentioned this in other videos, I was anticipating and expecting a lot more bugs here than we have encountered. There are definitely more bugs and different types of bugs than back home, but for whatever reason I was anticipating a lot more, and I've been pleasantly surprised. So I'm trying to decide which one to start with first, because I'm going to talk bugs and animals, but I think I'll start with like the fun ones for myself anyways, that being monkeys. And monkeys are definitely a thing here, and I don't know if they will ever get old because I just love monkeys so much. The particular type of monkey that is here, I don't know if there's more than one type, but the only one I've seen or heard thus far is the howler monkey. Maybe I'll try and include some clips in this video. The howls are so loud. To me, they sound more like a dog barking. They're kind of like an aggressive sounding noise coming from this small little monkey. And we can actually hear them for like quite a ways away. Like we're up here kind of on the side of the mountain, and I can hear monkeys way down there by the water. They are super, super loud. But they are common here, and they are all over the place. I've seen them in our complex, like in the development we live in, quite frequently. I've seen them if we go to the beach, they'll be like along the forests kind of behind the beach, or when you're driving into it, or just kind of, you know, all over the place. You definitely hear them on a daily basis. So yes, I love the monkeys. There's no lack of monkeys. They're not the type of monkeys that like want to be held or pet or anything like that. If you're like me and, you know, would love to pick up a monkey maybe one day, but these definitely aren't that type of monkey, but it's still cool to hear them and to see them on a daily basis. The other animal I was excited to hopefully see was a sloth, because sloths live here as well, and sadly I have not seen a sloth myself in person yet. They are not as common as monkeys. Maybe it's just because they're not as loud as monkeys, who knows? Maybe there's sloths living right across the street and I have no idea, but I personally haven't seen any sloths. My kids have, however, because there are some sloths living on the property of the school that they go to, so they have seen sloths, but yeah, I haven't yet. They are here, I just haven't seen them, and I'm excited to see them. Sea turtles is another exciting one that absolutely is here. I personally haven't seen them. Again, I need to figure that out and actually go down and see them when they're laying their eggs or when they're hatching and running back to the ocean. I do know a number of families who live here who have seen them up close and personal, and I'm very jealous, but they are a very common thing here. There's lots of different organizations that actually will protect the eggs when the sea turtle comes up to lay them, and then protect them as they're heading back out to sea. But yeah, I don't know what the cycle is. I feel like it's several times a year that they come and lay, and then they hatch and head back out to the ocean, but that's a pretty exciting one, I think. And before I move on to insects and reptiles and things like that, another part of the question was stray dogs and cats and things like that. And yes, they are definitely more prevalent here, absolutely. There are quite a number of stray animals. I feel like before, there's an organization here called SOS Animales, which is like, they do sterilization clinics and things like that for either stray animals or people who can't afford to get their animals sterilized. They do that on a monthly basis, and they're also like a veterinary clinic. And I feel like before they were here in town, I'm imagining the stray population was even worse. But now that they're here, they're doing their best to kind of bring them in and sterilize them and help where they can. But comparing to where I lived back home in Canada, yes, there's absolutely a lot more stray animals here. We actually, I don't think I've mentioned this on YouTube, maybe just on TikTok, but we had a cat recently. We've actually had two, but one stuck around. A cat just randomly show up and kind of join our family in a sense. We're still getting used to the cat. Well, I should say they're still getting used to us, but we're feeding the cat. It's definitely a stray, just came out of the jungle, and it's here with us now. We're happy to support it, and that's why all of the animals that we have are all rescues, because there is just an abundance of them here. So yeah, stray dogs and cats are a thing. In town for sure as well. Honestly, I was expecting to see more animals that were clearly in need and starving with their ribs showing and things like that. I was just expecting to see more of that, and you absolutely do see that here, but not to the extent that, at least in town, that I thought I would. There's a lot of people here who care and have big hearts when it comes to animals, and there's a lot of people here doing adoption just like we are. So I mean, as a community, everyone's trying to do what they can, but yeah, stray dogs and cats, definitely a thing here. Okay, on to the insects and the reptiles. Well, as far as reptiles, I have seen pretty large iguanas, like several feet long. I've seen them a couple times, just kind of like crossing the road in front of me. I've never seen them when on a hike or anything like that, but I have seen them crossing the road in front of me, maybe a handful of times. So iguanas. I do know that snakes are definitely a thing here. I haven't personally seen a snake, but I know they're prevalent here. So as we're getting on to this video, if you're squeamish about these things, you might want to stop watching. But just like there are snakes back home, there are snakes here as well. So I just personally haven't seen any snakes. But geckos, and I don't know if that's the actual name for them. That's what I call them. They're like the little mini lizards, little mini, not iguanas, but yeah, like geckos. They are everywhere, and I love them. I think they're so cute. Some people don't like them. I think they're just absolutely adorable. But they are everywhere, on the outside of buildings, on the inside of buildings. They can run really, really fast. Trying to catch them is incredibly difficult. They will go right up to the ceiling. They are inside our house. They're outside our house. They don't cause us any harm or any issue. Like, I don't personally have a problem with them, so I'm not like on a big quest to find all the geckos. It's not like they're all over my ceiling, but from time to time I definitely do see geckos, and definitely on the outside of the building. If they get scared, they drop their tail, which is interesting. So you'll see a lot of geckos, because I have a lot of cats, right? And they'll go after the geckos and they'll play with the geckos. But the first thing the gecko will do is drop its tail. So that's kind of an interesting thing to look at. But yeah, those don't, again, cause me any alarm or anything like that. But something that's very different from back in Canada is that there are geckos all over the place. Ooh, and before I move on, birds. The birds here are so cool, and I wish I was more educated in like what type of birds they are. But clearly birds I'm not used to seeing back home. Beautiful birds, beautiful colors, big birds, little birds. These birds make the most interesting sounds. I know even the people behind us, I believe, have parrots, or the birds that talk. Again, I could be wrong, there could be another name for them, but they'll speak in Spanish. It's pretty cool, but those aren't wild birds. But I'm talking the wild birds are amazing. So many cool birds. Frogs, another one that doesn't really bother me at all. I hadn't seen any frogs until I actually went on that little retreat a couple months back, about an hour south of where I currently am, and there were these really big, kind of squishy looking, pudgy looking frogs that were just kind of like hanging out on the stairs in different places. Again, I'll try and include a picture. I don't know what they're called, but they seem to be quite common there. Super cute, love those frogs. Again, I've never seen a frog up here. But yeah, down there, lots of frogs. I'm procrastinating getting to the ones I don't want to talk about. Plus, I feel like I'm missing a whole bunch of animals because I'm kind of brain dead at the moment from not feeling well. So maybe I'll have to come back and do a part 2. But everything I've spoken about up until this point, my kids have been absolutely fine with, if not absolutely loved, like obviously monkeys and things like that. But the 2 I'm kind of hesitating talking about are tarantulas and scorpions. And then I have to talk about, I guess, just mosquitoes and flies and all those other things as well. But let's get the tarantulas and the scorpions out of the way. Tarantulas do live here. I have seen a tarantula twice, well, maybe 2.5 times. I have seen one full-grown tarantula. Ugh, it was alive too, and it was right when we started construction for the addition on our house. So I can only imagine, you know, when they were digging and doing the foundation, that things kind of got stirred up. And anyways, that's when I saw a full-grown tarantula. And yeah, scared the crap out of me. Didn't like it, don't like to think about it, don't like to talk about it. Since then, I have seen 2 baby tarantulas that are just like, I say just like, but it's a baby tarantula, just little ones. And it's been a while since I've seen them, but I had to mention them. My kids, it's been me who's come across them, not my kids. I think when I saw the big one, I did call Kayla over, I believe, who was kind of freaked out, but I was more freaked out than she was. I know you guys were asking, like, how did they react? And honestly, we haven't had that many run-ins with tarantulas, so yeah. I don't like to talk about them. Those are probably my least favorite. However, scorpions should be my least favorite due to the issues I've had with scorpions. Scorpions, at least where we live, is much more prevalent than the tarantulas, at least on our deck or in the house. I know, scary. Everybody seems to have like a different run-in with scorpions. People that I know who live here, I would say just about everybody's seen a scorpion at some point, but I don't know anybody who's been stung by a scorpion except for myself. And I've been stung twice. And I don't want to freak anybody out by saying this in the video. That's why I want to preface this by saying that I don't know anybody else that I've met in town who's personally been stung by a scorpion, so I don't think that's like a really prevalent thing. The fact that I've been stung twice, it's crazy. The first time it was in the dark, I stepped on it, I didn't see it. The second time, it was in a piece of my clothing that I was picking up off the ground and like folding to put away, and it got me on my leg. Horrifying. Scorpion sting is like, I don't know. It feels like you're being stabbed at first and you don't even know what happened, because obviously you don't see it until after it happens, and then it's like this intense radiating shockwave feeling. I could get into more depth in a video if you want, but anyways, I've personally been stung twice. Nobody else in my family has, nobody else that I know has, so I don't know if that's just like a rare thing for me, but scorpions we have seen more frequently than spiders, so I had to mention that in this video. I've seen tiny ones, like we're talking this big, baby ones, up into like this big kind of ones. And it's not like I see them every day. It's not like they're just like running around my floors or anything like that, but they are more prevalent than the spider that I talked about before. So yeah, and I was gonna kind of get into ways that different people manage bugs and things like that, but I think I might save that for another video. But yeah, you wanted to know, there you go. I do see scorpions a lot more than I see spiders. And I'm gonna stop talking just about scorpions now. Okay, so lastly, just like random insects like mosquitoes that, again, I thought we would deal with a ton. Honestly, the first 6 months living here, like not an issue at all. I think we were at a friend's house once and they lived a little bit farther down than we did, and we noticed once it got dark that there were mosquitoes, but up here we didn't really notice it. Now that we're kind of just left dry season into rainy season, kind of this 2-week span that we're currently in, and I feel like everything's shifting. Everything is like so weird right now, and from what I hear from a lot of people, some bugs really only exist during this, not exist, but become a problem during this window of transition between seasons. So I'm curious to see what happens. I've noticed an increase in beetles, because I never noticed a beetle at all in my first 6 months of living here, and now I feel like they're all over my deck and outside, all varying sizes of beetles. Again, luckily beetles don't bother me, but also the mosquitoes. I've noticed mosquitoes have definitely picked up at night, and I think that's just because the rains have rolled in. So I'm curious if that's gonna last all rainy season. But mind you, we moved here kind of in the middle of rainy season last year. It was a milder rainy season, but we, again, didn't really have any issues. Even when we visited in the summer, we didn't have any mosquito issues. So, and it's nothing crazy. It's just I've noticed mosquitoes, whereas before I didn't. Flying ants are, I guess, a thing during this 2-week span right now, is what I was reading. I've only seen a couple flying ants. I don't think I'm gonna be a big fan of flying ants, but yeah, it's not something that I see very often. What else? The beetles. I mean, there's random like moths. There's some interesting looking. If you go outside like well past dark, you'll see some big flying bugs, and I don't know what they are. But I feel like right now, this particular season is more than there was before. So I'm curious to see what happens as we roll into rainy season. But yeah. So I think I'm gonna end this video here. I'm gonna try and edit this and actually get this up today. I hope I didn't scare you guys too much, but I did want to share the reality of living here, and honestly, it hasn't been that bad. If I could just get rid of the scorpion experiences that I had, and maybe even seeing that one spider, because I'm just not a spider person, I'd be fine. There's nothing like, oh my goodness, I can't deal with this many bugs. It's definitely not the case at all. But things do change and are changing. So if you want an updated video like kind of halfway through rainy season, let me know and I will film that. And I hope I didn't miss any. I feel like I am, but anyways, if you have any particular questions, let me know. I think that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.